Hello guys. So I just decided to record a video for you guys just as a reference. What we have already covered in our online class. So it helped you to just have a quick overview what we have covered so far. So let's get started. I'm using the same scene uh, that you see in our online class, and I'm just going to start create my material here. M underscore master new maybe. Sorry. And you can see uh, right here that we are inside material editor, and I've already give a brief overview what it is and how it works. So we have multiple options right there, frequently used tools, and we have all the expressions and functions listed right there in order to make a network of nodes for your particular surface. And we have a couple of some material properties right there listed, and definitely you can change them according to your requirement. So maybe for the glass surface, or we select translucent um, blend mode, and for the mask surfaces, like you can say the cutouts alphas, and we can select masked, or we have a couple of some options there. So for this very basic class, I just want to stick with some basic functionality, right? uh, as you can see right here, you have your material preview inside this preview window with the HDRI map on the back, and have some direct light on it, so you can see how it act when in any particular lighting scenario. So what you can do, you can just press L shortcut on your keyboard, L key on your keyboard, and then you would be able to simulate different lighting direction also, right? So you can do it right from there. And also you can do what you can do, you can just click and just move your mouse left and right to see the different directions of your uh, of the spherical representation of your you can say that, or of your material. And you have different meshes to simulate your material, like cylinder, sphere, just a rectangular plane, definitely cube. And you can also select the custom mesh from right from here. So maybe you want to do something like this. Select your mesh in the content browser, and then click right there. So you have your custom mesh inside your preview window, right? So I would like to stick with sphere only, right, for the time being. So these are the different options by which you can make your material, right? And you can also get these nodes by just right clicking and search for a particular node, like mask, or add, or type texture here. So many different things. And you also have ability uh, to get your nodes get your expression, material expressions or functions with the help of the shortcut keys. So we will explore so many shortcut keys during this session, right? So let's get started. What we have right there, so it is the PBR or PBS, you can say, as physical based rendering or physical based shading model. So what is important for us is these 3 or 4 nodes. Base color, which represents the base color of your material or base texture of your material. It is albedo, and definitely if you're using any kind of a DCC application, C4D, 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, whatever, you are well aware of this base color node, right? So the albedo is the texture which don't have any lighting information on it, right? So let me show you something that I have. Let's say this one. You don't have any specular value, any glossiness, anything. It's just a plain texture which has some color detail, right? No shadows, no lighting. So what we call it albedo, and we will put it right there. We have a couple of some more things in the PBR shading pipeline, which is the metallic and the roughness, and definitely the normal is there. So the metallic is the metallic behavior of any material. Uh, you don't, I don't know. I never found anything which is half metal or half wood, right? I never found something which is half plastic and half metal. So metallic is most of the time the behavior of your material which represents a metal. So it is metal or not. So it takes only yes or no values, only black or white. Black means no metal or white means metal. Yes, of course. Sometimes you have something which is not 0 or 1, yes or no, in between these two values. Maybe when you have a rusted metal, so the rust have the different texture property, surface property, or you may have something like when you have a metal with some dust on it, maybe. So when we got something like this, definitely we will crank it up to 0 and pull it down from 1, right? But most of the cases, metal is metal, and it is almost 0 or just slightly below 1. So it is almost black or white, right? So the values like 0 0.4, 0 0.5, 0 0.6, most of the time we don't use these values in the PBR shading pipeline. Roughness declare what? Roughness is something which tells that your surface is smooth or rough. Maybe you have a porous surface which scatter more light, so you see uh, something like blurry reflections on it, and maybe you have something like glossy surface. So it determines that how shiny the surface is in a nutshell, or in a very or with a very high level. If I want to tell you that it is just the glossiness parameter that you have in the known PBR shading pipeline, right? So what we have, yes, normal. It is the bumps and lumps of the surface which create some irregularities on the surface, and definitely it affect roughness, look and feel also. But definitely we will explore it later. So let's get started. I have a couple of some maps here, and I found that the wood material or the wood surface is more neutral to work with. So I have three different texture groups. For roughness, we always use gray textures, so it never required the color values, all the RGB values. It just the simulation of how light react with the material. So we just need black and white, right? And we have albedo and we have the normal texture. In the normal texture, we have red, green, and blue channels. Blue, you can say that the blue has nothing to do, not much to do with the normal inside Unreal. Definitely, it is the base. It defines the depth only, right? So the real bump and lumps defined by the red and green channels. So just take them from there and I can drag them inside my material. This is the one thing that I can do. Second, just search for texture sample, right? And drag it from there. Third, press E and click right there. Fourth, right click and just type texture sample and you will find it right here. So there are just to get the functions and the expressions, you have these four basic ways to have your nodes inside your graph editor. So what we can do, we can just drag them right from there here inside the material editor. Okay, so this is the color, this is the roughness, and it is my normal. What I can do, I can just plug them, just connect them like this, and that's it, nothing else. Because maybe you guys are using some sort of other applications like Substance and or Quixel Mixer. So you are designing those material, those textures, those PBR textures inside those applications, and when you export your texture, you just have to connect them. But right now we are talking about Unreal Material Pipeline. So if I do something like this, it works fine. Okay, press Ctrl B, and you know what? When you are inside the material editor, you want to search that where is that material inside content browser. So in order to search this, in order to get this material, just press Ctrl B and you have it right there. So what I can do, I can just drag it on my material, on my static mesh. I can select my mesh and drag it right on the slot. It is element 0 right now. And I can select it and just click this white arrow right there. Here we go. And that's it. But what if I want to change something according to different environment? In my different environment, maybe I have an indoor environment and I want to change it a bit. By the way, this is the real benefit of using PBR shading pipeline. You don't have to change much in your material in different lighting scenario. If everything is calibrated and you use the right texture in the right slot, so you don't have to do this, but still you need to have the freedom to make creative decisions, right? So I just want to tell you that you can do this, but for the time being, if we have something like this, we can't make it brighter. We cannot control the roughness, we cannot control the normal. Okay, So we need to make some sort of parameters that we expose to the instance material in order to get it working right in real time, right? So what I can do, I can just disconnect them, because every time I connect it, I just need to save it and or apply it and see my preview inside my editor. This is not very practical. So what I can do, I can just get disconnected from these nodes, and let's start working on the albedo first. Maybe you want to change the texture tiling. So let's start from there. So what I have the texture coordinate node, COOR. If you type this, you will get it right there, or you can even press U and then click it. You can get it from there also. So I have my texture coordinate, and it works like this. From red to green, the space is divided, all the four sides of this texture. This space is divided into, you can say that 0 or 1 coordinate system. So it starts from upper left corner and the right there. So here we have the pivot, or you can say the origin, which is 0 0 right now. So I don't want to get you into more complication regarding this, because it's just a basic class, and it's not our not the scope of our class to get some technicalities regarding this color space, that how it works and everything else. But remember this, just to let you know that it is very, very important to understand this red and green, to understand this 0 and 1 space, right? But we will discuss it in our later sessions, right? So what we have this texture coordinate expression, and if I multiply it, by the way, I just press M right there to get the multiply node, and I am multiplying it with one of my constant, and constant is just a number, nothing else. Or you can say a constant, single constant vector is just a color which starts from 0 and starts from 0 to 1. You can say that it starts from black to white, right? So I just press 1 and click right here and connect it to the multiply V in the B pin, and then connect it right there. So what you have a texture coordinate which is controlled by this constant value, right? And if I connect my texture right there, or even I can do something like this, I can right click on my texture node and start previewing the node. So I can't see anything, it's just black. What I can do, I can put some numbers on it, right? Now you have it. You see, now the x and y coordinates are 1 and 1. So you have the scaling, original scaling of the texture on this surface right now. This is what you are seeing right now. So what I can do, I can now connect it with my base color. So this texture, this constant is 1. Let's change it to 4. Now you see, you have small tiles, so the texture is getting smaller, or you are increasing the tiling of your texture right now with the help of this multiply node, right? What you can do now, let's stop previewing node. What you can do, you can convert this parameter, because whenever I change it, I need to save it and see my result right there, right? Save. Okay, it's there. Now change, save or apply, then check. It's not practical. What I can do, I can just right click and convert it into parameter. right? And this is my base scale, okay? And now I save my material, right click, create material instance. So I always start with mi. I've already shared the style guide with you guys. So just you can get the naming conventions from there. Mi underscore maybe wood new something, and I just want to change my master material over this surface to material instance, right? Now when I double click on the material, I see something like this. Let's close this window. Okay, base color. So what I did by converting it into parameter, I just exposed this value to the instance. When I check the instance or base color, base scale, this option, now I can manage my scaling in real time. I don't have to compile the shader again and again and again, right? I can control it right from there. It's quite easy and practical, right? So what I can do, I want to add more controls, right? Maybe I want to control my tiling X and Y separately. And this is the most important thing that I want to do, because there are so many conditions when you want to do this in order to fit your texture over a particular surface, or static mesh or skeletal mesh, whatever. So what I can do when I use this multiply, after this, to control X and Y separately, I need to have two constant, and afterwards I need to change them into parameter in order to expose them to the material instance. But I can do something like this: press S and take a scalar value, scalar node, and I name it X scale, right? And it is already a parameter, right? Press S and click Y scale, right? So X scale and Y scale. And you know what I'm going to do? I am just, because these two are different, just two numbers. These are not X, actually X and Y coordinates or a vector coordinates. So I use another function which is append vector in order to make them vector, right? True X and Y coordinates. And I will just multiply them with this multiply and connect them right there. So let's check it out what happened. Okay, and make the default value like 1 and 1, and even you can let it compile, and even you can add this before this multiply, right? You can even do this, and if you want to do this and do something like this, you can. So here we go, like this, connect it like this. Now I think I can make it right. So it is more practical now. So the X scale and Y scale separately is 0 0, but we have the overall scale. So it is up to your own customized workflow what you want to do. I can do something more useful. Maybe you will need it during your design workflow. The multiply that I'm using is to scale up and down the texture. It is fine. But what if I want to offset the texture? Multiply is for scaling, and there is a vector maths behind it, and I don't want to get into it in this particular class at least, right? So what I can do, I can have one scalar for x scale and one is for y scale, right? And I can multiply, I can use add, I can use up and oh, by the way, I just select it and press Ctrl W to make it a duplicate, right? So I need to make it vector and then add, add, or just press A and click right here. That's it. So just do something like this, and here we go. That's it. Now, definitely you will need it for all the UVs to control all the UVs simultaneously. Roughness, normal. Now let's check it out what we have. So all of these parameters can be grouped into single group, and we name it UV controls, right? So I can do something like, did I do something wrong? Let's make it one. Save it. I think I need to have the values right there. Yeah, sorry. Save it. And let's check it. Press F11 to see the immersive view, which is full screen view. And what I have scaling, fine. And let me check where are my offsets. It's right there. UV controls, and UV controls, but I can't see my, oh, I'm sorry. This is what I did wrong. X offset, and it is Y offset. Now when I hit save, here we go. So X offset, X scale, Y offset, Y scale. Let's play with X offset. You see it's working. It is X, Y offset. See it's working. Y scale only, right? Okay. And X scale only, right? Let's put 1, 1, and no offset, 0, 0, 1. Here we go. And just put the default values for the offset right there, like 0 and 0. What I want to do, I just want to rearrange these scalar values, right? So on the top, I want my base scale. It is right there. and then I want X scale and Y scale, and then X offset and then Y offset. So X scale should be something in the set priority 1, it is 2, it is 3, it is B4, right? So save it. In this particular, for this particular group, I just sort my scalar parameters. Base scale, X scale, Y scale, X offset, Y offset. So you can always do this, right? In order to organize yourself. Excuse me. So what you can do now, it is all there, okay? And you just need to hit C, and these are my texture UVs, okay? And let's convert these into parameters. So maybe you want to change different wood textures with different roughness and normal map. Right click, convert to parameter. So I can select this one, and it is my albedo. I will select this one, and this is my roughness. Okay, and this is normal. So when I hit save, I can check my instance material right from there also, right? So here we go, albedo, normal, roughness. And again, this is my texture group, right? Select them and create a new group, which is textures, okay? So you can see that I have my texture group right there, okay? So what I want albedo and then roughness and then normal, right? So I can select my albedo, and it is already 0. It is the first texture, it starts from the 0, and it's gonna be 1 and definitely 2. So when I hit save, you will see immediately changes right there. So it is working absolutely fine. Hit save, and let's try something else, different texture. So I can select my texture, this one. This is T wood oak, and I would like to select my roughness, and I would like to select my normal as well, right? So it is there. So you can always change your textures as per your requirement. Okay, so this is what we have done so far. We exposed the texture parameter and some scalar values for to control the UVs, right? Let's move on. Okay, so what else we can do to control? Yes, of course, we can add a tint parameter, or we can control the contrast or brightness of this texture. So let's do it. Press Alt and click right there, and press M for multiply and connect it right there, and add an scalar value which controls the multiply. So you can say that it's a kind of a brightness that you are controlling for your texture albedo. So press S like this, and hit and click left mouse click. So it is, maybe, I don't know it's the right word for this or not, but I'm using it. So this is something like this. So okay, so I don't define any group for the brightness so far. So let's check it out. Yeah, it works absolutely fine. This is what I expected from, right? Great, fine. Okay, so what else we can do with this? Let's make some space. What else we can do? Maybe we can use some sort of tint values, maybe. um, I can use right click, blend overlay, and for the base I use the same input from my multiply, and for the blend I'm using vector 3 node, which is RGB, RGBA, when I convert it into parameter. Right click, convert to parameter, and name it like tint. Okay, so this is my tint, and for the default I would like to have mid gray. Okay, and I am just going to connect my texture right there. Okay, save. Let's hit save, and let's see what happened. It is working absolutely fine. Perfect. Okay, let's create a group for these two, or maybe we after we add some more parameters to albedo. Maybe you want to desaturate your textures, you want to change the hue of your textures, right? So what you can do, you can use desaturate node, and I'm just taking input from my blend overlay, and I am just going to put a value right there, which is 0, right? And let's see what happened. Connect, save. Okay, and nothing happened. So let's convert it into parameter. Saturation. Here we go. The saturation is 0, but we are seeing full color texture. So what goes wrong? Let me check. Where is my saturation parameter? Here we go. And when I enter 1, okay, it is working inverse. So my 1 minus node will invert the value, so we will get the right values, right? Now on 0, no saturation, and when I put 1, I will get the original texture saturation, right? So in order to desaturate, we must put 0, which is the right way to do it. And what else we can do? We can use, and I think that's it. I don't want to make it too much complicated. So I am going to select these 3 and define it like color controls for my material, and just save it. So I have a 1, 2, 3 groups. The color controls are right there. Brightness, saturation, and tint. Texture controls are right there. You can change the texture. And the UV controls is right there. You can control the UVs all the way, like offset and separate scaling, and the base scale is there. What else you can do? You can control your roughness, right? So what I can do, I can do something like this maybe. um, I have just press M and click right there, connect it with A, and multiply it with an scalar value. So name it roughness power, connect it to B. And I always like to clamp my values, right? Maybe I want to put it something like 0.5, and I just want to work between 0 to 0.5. So you can also add clamp, and minimum is 0 and maximum is 1 by default. It is right there. So you can control it with two scalar parameter. So rough, ROUGH, minimum, and rough maximum. Put it right there, connect it right there, and make it 1. And now you can put it inside the roughness channel, right? And definitely 1, which is default, right? So these 3 parameters, I would like to put it inside a generic material control group. So let's hit save and check what we can do with this. Okay, this is my color control. I don't want any tint. Brightness is 1, perfect. This, here we go, my texture control. I activate all of them, and you see what you can do, and it is just like this. So when I put 0.5 there, it is working below 5 and above 0. So it's always a good idea to define the base power for the roughness and then control minimum maximum. It's up to you, by the way, but it's there. Just I want to show you guys that it's there. You can do something like this also. So just hit save, and okay, so it is quite messy now. So let me press another C, select all of these, press C to comment, and name it Albedo, and select them and press C to name it roughness, right? And now guys, normal. I would like to show you something. This is just a general normal texture that you are seeing right now. Let's check it out. Okay, blue, you see a little detail inside, right? And it is green, right? And it is red. Okay, so it is distributed in these 3 channels. Okay, so what I am going to do, let me show you. In order to control the normal, you can do something like this. Flatten normal. Okay, this. You just have to connect your normal right there, and a scalar value, normal power, connect it with the flatness, and that's it. Select the group for this. I have my UV control, material control group. Save. Let's check it out. What happened? All right, here we go. Material control, roughness, normal power. It is working absolutely fine, right? Perfect. So my normal control is there. What else you can do is something like this. So I want to show you multiple ways to achieve this. Maybe something like this. I just disconnect it, put it right there, and you can even right click and disconnect them all, right? So you don't have to press alt and click everywhere. So I am just going to have a blue channel. It's a vector 3 node, by the way, and I just put 1 inside the blue. So I just want blue, nothing else. And here we go. It is a lerp. It works between A and B. It decides what should you supposed to have between A and B on the basis of the alpha channel, right? So what you can do, you can control your alpha right from there. Put your normal map in B and in A. So what happened? What happened when we have 0? It means no normal at all, right? And when we put 1, we just have the normal, I think. Yes, let me check. Yes, it is there. And when I put 0 there, what happened? No normal. Yes, I was right. Okay, so this is another way. So it is blending the normal with this blue, which is the base, and you are controlling this value with the help of this scalar node, right? So it is blending A and B on the basis of the alpha. This is what lerp is doing, right? So there are several ways of doing this. It's totally up to you guys what you want according to your workflow. Definitely we have some differences according to different workflows, but definitely for the time being, I just want to show you these two things, right? So you have control over your normal also. Let's check it right there. And material control, and this is my normal. It is working absolutely fine. Just want to put, sorry, 1. And what else we can do? So I just want to delete this node. What else you can do? We did everything so far, almost everything. So this is my normal group. Okay, so we have few nodes to control albedo, we have few nodes to control roughness, we have these 2 nodes and lerp to control the normal. If you want to add more control inside your, it is all about your workflow, what you want to achieve, right? Don't make it complicated. Just decide it that in my workflow I always crank up or maybe pull down the values for the roughness. I want to control my normal, and definitely I want to use the same master material for metallic meshes also, right? So in order to achieve that particular phenomena, you must have something like this. Make some space for metallic, right? Right there. Okay. And what you can do, another texture, and you see what happened. When I press T and click to take the texture sample, we already have a texture. You know why? Because we have select a normal map there. Okay, so whatever you selected inside the content browser, when you press T and hit click, left click, you will get it right there, right? So I don't want it, and what I want is this gray. Definitely, I will make it parameter and change it on the fly, right? So whatever I have, it's not a problem for me. Convert it into parameter and make it metallic. Excuse me. And just put it inside the texture group, which is textures. Okay. So what you can do, maybe you want it. This is the optional parameter, right? So what we can do, we can use switch and shader switch. Let me search static switch parameter. It work like, let me name it first, is metallic or not. It is work on the 0 or 1. You can say yes or no, true and false. When it is true, it use this texture, and when it is false, it use something else. Okay, so let's define the network node of some nodes, network of node for this, right? So what I can do, I can I can I can I can I can have I may have a simple constant value. If it is false, 0, and you know what it means? It means black, and black means nothing for metallic, right? And when it is true, what happened? What happened? When it is true, you may have something like this, maybe. And a scalar value to control your metallic, right? Maybe something metal power. Sorry, put it right there. Connect it to the metal. So what you want by default, it is there, right? The default value is false. Okay, so it works just absolutely fine, no problem at all. And when we make it true by checking this parameter, what happened? It activates these nodes, all the texture and the metallic power and everything. So I will show you, I want to show you practically. Metallic. Okay, and bring it right there. Save. Let's check it. Hierarchy. Open in editor. If I have one instance, it shows only one. When I have multiple instances, it shows all the list right there. So it is quite handy to select material instance from the master instance, right? From the master material, sorry. And here we go. So where is the static parameter values? It's right there. I will make a separate group for this. Hit metal and you see what happened. It is compiling. Yes, this is another thing that I want to tell you guys, that when you use the static when you use the switch functions or boolean values and decide it compile the shader and take a while, right? So for one stream of network of nodes, it works something like this. When it falls, it take this, and when it is true, it take this. So it switch the whole behavior for any particular node. It takes some time to for the compilation. So don't use so many static switch nodes inside your master material. Too many. One, two, or three, I think it's fine. So here we go. When I check, I activate, and you see the metallic texture is here. And where is the metallic power? Okay, right there. So the wood becomes metallic, right? So it is not an ideal scenario that I'm using it right there. So if there is something metal in albedo, metal texture in albedo and roughness, I will use it. So it is there. It is there. You can do something like this. I'm going to disable this function for this particular material. So everything, it is almost everything. And you know what? If you want to add some more details, if you want to blend your normal material with another normal material, you can do this. There are so many things, but uh, those things you can definitely do this on the basis what I explained right on the basis of what I explained right here. But this is it. Maybe one more thing. Let's say if you want to blend, I will just show you. I'm not going to do it right now. If you want to blend two normal material, you can use something like blend normal, angle correct normal, right? This is something that helps you to blend two normal. And maybe you can add some more things, like I've already created a material for this, and this is right there. I've created something to add the macro details inside from a material, right? And yes, I'm going to select it like this. I can select all the nodes and paste it somewhere right there. Okay, and what it is, these are, this is one texture, and I am using it 0.002, 0.02 may be fine for this, and I'm using it to add some macro details over my texture, right? This is simple, and I've already explained you what it is. It is for UVs, multiplying, adding them, and adding them with different numbers, 0.2, 0.3, 0.1, and sorry, and multiplying them, and then I'm using lerp to add macro contrast, and this is what I found inside the starter content, one of the starter content material there. So you can use it from there also. And what I'm going to do is press Ctrl and drag this node inside B and connect it like this. That's it, nothing else. Select these, all the scalars, and make them a separate group which is already there, right? Macro control. So when I copy and paste, I will get the group along with the nodes. Okay, here we go, macro control, and let's check it out. What happened? Macro add, if I add, it's already there, I think. Contrast, okay, and macro tiling. Oh, tiling was so. You can blend some details over it, right? And definitely, right now it is working with Albedo only, but definitely you can do this with, sorry, with your roughness also. And what you can do, you can just add a multiply node and multiply it with the macro. That's it, nothing else. So guys, that's it, more or less everything that I want to tell you, that I want to teach you in this particular session. And bye for now. See you with another class very soon. Bye.